Hi, I'm Rabbi Ted Falcon of the Interfaith Amigos. Along with Pastor Don Mackenzie and Imam Jamal Rahman, today we're looking at compassion, a major focus of each of our traditions. In Hebrew, compassion is rachamim, and it comes from a root, rechem, which means womb. Compassion is a feminine energy, which is not to say a matter of gender, but a matter of open-hearted, expansive, expressive, supportive energy. Like a womb, holding someone in compassion is holding them when they need support and being willing to release them to their own journey, rather than capturing them, holding them in the container of what once was necessary in order to support. Rachamim in Jewish tradition is expressive of supporting and enabling an individual to grow into their fullest and highest potential. Pastor Don.
Thanks, Rabbi Ted. I think it's important always to begin by saying that Jesus' ministry was framed by what you've just heard from Rabbi Ted. Jesus was not a Christian, he was a rabbi, a Jew, and he had a deep understanding of the oneness that is so central to Judaism, of the unconditional love that is also central, and compassion, as you've heard from Rabbi Ted. The story that happens in the Gospels, where Jesus is asked, "And who is my neighbor?" by a scholar of Torah, of the scholar of the teachings, because Jesus has just quoted Leviticus saying, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." The man says, "And who is my neighbor?" And Jesus then tells the familiar story of the Good Samaritan, of a man walking down from Jerusalem to Jericho, about a 20-mile hike, which is really downhill, and gets set upon by robbers, is beaten, and left for dead. And then the next part of the story is a couple people walk by and don't do anything. But then a stranger comes by and takes him to an inn, gives the innkeeper money and says, "Take care of this man, and if you need more money, I'll be back and I'll give you more." And then Jesus says to the scholar of Torah, "Which of these three people was neighbor to the man who was beaten?" And the scholar says, "The one who showed mercy." And then Jesus says, "Go and do likewise." In other words, for all three of our traditions, we're not talking about feelings by themselves. We're talking about action. And this story is a terrific example of the kind of action that is required by coming into contact with compassion. Brother Jamal.
Thank you, Brother Don. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he said, the entire wisdom of Islam can be distilled in the Basmallah. This is the invocation that opens virtually all of the 114 chapters of the Quran. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. In the name of God, who is boundlessly compassionate, infinitely merciful. So a Bedouin once asked the Prophet, what is a deeper meaning of this? And the Prophet Muhammad said, this is the core of life, of living. Be compassionate with yourself and be compassionate with others. So spiritual teachers, they use the metaphor of water to explain the beauty, the majesty, the power of this divine attribute, compassion. There's nothing as soft and yielding as water is, yet for overcoming the hardest, there's nothing as powerful as water is. Also, wherever water falls, life flourishes, meaning the person who is gentle, merciful, compassionate, is possessed of raw, authentic strength and is life-affirming and life-bestowing. So may we all practice compassion for ourselves and for others. Thank you.